Hi everyone and welcome back to Second Rank Fire. As always, I'm your host Ben, Dave my co-host, hello.
Good evening everyone, how's it going?
And Jade, you're here, hello, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm good, thank you for having me.
It's quite alright, thank you for coming on. For those people that don't know you, Jade, can you give a bit of an intro of who you are and some of your sort of background in the hobby?
So I am quite relatively new to the hobby, I suppose, in terms of everybody else. I've only been doing it since probably this time 2024. So I got into the hobby because my partner Phil was really into the hobby, and I thought, rather than being that girlfriend as to go, oh God, what is he doing now? I thought, for his birthday, we went to Warhammer Worlds. We did did the museum and everything else, and I thought, oh, it's kind of interesting. Okay, I'll pick up a model, and he can teach me to build it. Kind of like a backwards birthday present. He can teach me how to paint it, and it kind of went from there, really.
And it just got bigger and bigger.
Bigger.
It was just as addicted as the rest of us. Literally bigger for you as well.
Literally bigger and bigger, and the fact that people come over and they're like, oh my God, you're such and such, and I'm going, yeah, my other half's just sat there going, hello, I've been painting for like way longer.
You're the diorama queen, so of course.
Oh gosh, that's quite a big title, I think.
Big title for big models. I think you're probably some of the biggest models that I've seen in real life. So
they're definitely not subtle at all. I've noticed they are definitely in your face. I kind of run the rule of go big or go home. So, and I've kind of just stuck with that. So
that's it. Keep running with it. That's what I'll say.
Well, you don't really see anyone else doing it, so I was kind of like, well, everyone's sitting here going, I've got these 20,000 million point armies of all the same stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to make this one thing and spend like 6 months on it, and I'm going to keep doing that thing.
Brilliant.
That's what I thought. I mean, we'll go into way more detail later. We have 1,000,001 questions for you already, so yeah, we'll quiz you on that later. Dave, I feel like we're probably going to have a bit of a joint conversation here. What have you been up to for the past 2 weeks?
Before I took the trip up to your local neck of the woods, I managed to get some vampire accounts, or soul blight as they're called now, in preparation for playing a game against my daughter, who started playing Lumineth. So she's got like 10 more guys left to build. I'm not too worried about the mould lines on hers, so I've been sat down there being tried to build my stuff, but couldn't. Got to make sure she doesn't chop her finger off with a clipper. So I need to make sure she was doing that right. Apart from that, my blood angels have gone nosedive off a cliff. I don't know why. I haven't touched them since like 2 months ago or a month ago now.
It's been quite a while since you've touched your blood angels.
Yeah,
they've stayed orange for a little while.
Orange, yeah. That's putting it politely.
There are worse colours for them to be. It could be grey.
It could be
still.
grey. Yeah, exactly.
It could be grey.
Yeah. Then I won't go into what we did. I'll try not PG version. Organised together. But what have you been up to?
Similar to you, I had done NAFL ahead of our meeting. I sprayed up the rest of my 2K list so that I didn't have random black bits or coloured bits. It was all gold. Everything in my 2K list is now gold. So yeah, that was about it. I have since, incredibly enough, I've nearly finished my Tech Marine. Literally just before recording, I took all the streak and grime off it. So just needs a base left on it now. He's pretty much ready to go. So that has been it. I've not done anything on YouTube. My streaming setup is ready to go. It's just been so horribly humid. Every time I've sat down to stream, I'm like, I'm such a sweaty mess. Nobody deserves to be put through that pain of just looking at me sweat for an hour.
Well, who knows?
There are fans of everything.
Yeah. I feel like that should go on the OnlyFans, stuff like that. If you're into that sort of thing, I could get paid a lot more than Twitch will pay me for that sort of thing. So, so apart from that, obviously we had our game, right? That's the big thing that we did. We finally met each other in real life and had a game.
2K guard versus I can't remember your custom chapter's name. It's very fancy.
Dawn and Angelia already, but Dawn Angels for
Yeah,
in
for
English.
common folk, Dawn Angels.
Yeah.
In
Low Gothic. Let's go.
Yeah. we'll stick to that. It was obviously if you don't follow us on Instagram or whatever, I did lose that game.
Win, yeah, finally.
But yeah, it's like it shouldn't be like Gar gets shot off the table. It shouldn't work like that. But yes, Ben did win. The king of sixes, I'll call him at the moment. The amount of sixes and fives he was rolling.
well in that game, that's for
it
sure.
was insane. But no, it was close. I feel like it went from about round 4, would you say, all in your favour after that?
Yeah,
I was leading for quite a while, for one, potentially 3 rounds maybe.
Yeah,
then
there was
you just snowballed
towards the
me.
back end of third that it switched. I think there was like 1 or 2 units that I managed to kill. I think there was like I killed like 3 full units in turn 3, thanks to incredible dice rolling on my side and incredibly bad dice rolling on yours. I think it just sort of swung it.
And you shouldn't be able to shoot a tank off a Lean Russ battle tank with bolt guns. That's just sacrilege.
No, Incessors for the win, man. In bolt rifles, Incessors with bolt rifles can shoot a tank off in 1 turn of shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting list that I brought. I didn't expect it to be quite as strong as it was. I use Siege Anvil, for those that know what that means. So leaning in towards like heavy weapons, and I leant very, very heavily on lethal hits. So put lieutenants with my intercessors, put a Apothecary Biologist with my aggressors, and I just rolled for 5s and 6s. There's a strat that I can do. Yeah, that's literally it. Put oath on something, roll for 6s, and if I don't get them, just roll it all again. Just pick them all up, all those hits, and just roll again to see how many 6s I can get.
I didn't feel like you needed your big tank. You just had, if you could just put more intercessors in with lieutenants.
That tank's really good against. So intercessors on average. I'm gonna break out the statistics. Sorry, Jade, you're gonna fall asleep at this point.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Jade, for those listening, Jade doesn't play. Jade's a fantastic painter. So intercessors, in theory, when you put lethals on them with oath, against over double their strength, toughness 8 and above, for a 2-up save on average with oath should do 13 wounds, I think, if they don't move. So in Siege Anvil, because they've got heavy, they get +1 to hit and +1 to wound if they don't move. So hitting on 2s, wounding, those sorts of things on 5s, picking up lethals, so you don't even have to roll to wound, stuff like that. On average, should be 13 wounds. So it's really good against stuff like Dreadnoughts, because it ignores their -1 damage. It's good against Leman Russers. What it's not good against is Knights, unless you're going to put I've got 2 units of Intercessors, put all of those into it. Not good against Knights. I wasn't going to one-shot your Rogue or Dawn, so against a really tank-heavy guard list, pure Intercessors will just really struggle. You'll lose a lot of that, and you'll whittle away quite quickly. Whereas the Repulsor Executioner, you can get it so it's outputting really heavy damage. Plus it's got a shed ton of other guns. I think I only really brought it to bear properly once with all of its guns.
Yeah.
And that's when it killed off the unit. I think there was like 7 horses left and a full Leman Russ that it managed to kill in one turn of shooting. So like 7 horses and a full wound Leman Russ. It does work when it gets to shoot. Unfortunately, your horses were brought down by mass fire.
Yeah. But yeah, so I travelled home for another 2 hours, getting back home at midnight. So yeah,
poor Dave travelled 2 hours.
Bit of dedication.
Get beat by me.
Came back with his tail between his legs.
Yeah, just limping as I got home.
Whimpering through the front door.
Yeah. But no, it was very good. Brilliant game. Just nice to see Jim as well, who was part of our Discord, seeing his core walks and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just nice putting names to faces, because I used to live on the Isle of Wight, and now living back on the mainland. It's just nice to have. I can just travel anywhere I want, you know. I've got a friend up in Nottingham who's moved there now, and I will literally travel up 3 hours, have a game, crash at his, come back the next day. I don't care. It's gaming at the end of the day, and it's all about a social aspect, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
getting out your comfort zone, and I think that's what the hobby is all about. If you're confident enough in yourself to step out and just go to a random place that you've never been, like I did, because I think a lot of people probably find that daunting, if that makes sense. But I'll tell you now, I'll just encourage everyone else just to do it. You know,
I would agree, even without with not being a player, it is always interesting to go to events where you watch people play, because the interactions of just looking at this sheer variance of people who've never interacted, never spoken, never, played, and looking at how their armies are portrayed on the tables, looking at how they interact. Everyone is just such a really nice group of people. These are people you'd never just bump into, but actually there's Phil's always said, there's people he's met at tournaments and things that have become really good friends or really good ears just to message and go, I'm really struggling with this model. What do you think? Because sometimes actually, as much as he could ask me about a game or something like that, it's good to get extra perspective on things.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's you only can grow together at the end of the day. You know, some people may find loopholes in your paintings. Like, how about you do it this way a little bit, which you can never think of, and go, holy crap, it's like a holy grail is unlocked. And it's like, oh, never thought of that.
Phil always says I'm really good at doing that for everybody else, but I will sit and stare at a model for weeks going, I can't figure this out. And the minute someone else says it to me, I'm like, oh yeah, of course. How could I be so stupid?
It's like a slap in the face, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I totally get that. Yeah. So my missus says the same thing when we went to Warhammer World, where I was bumping into random people who I used to met through the events and stuff like that, and she was like, so who was that? Oh, that was so and so. It's it's like randomly hugging people.
Nobody knows anyone's first names. It's always, you're such and such a handle. You're such and such a handle, absolutely. And I'm going, I can never remember people's first names.
Just smile and wave. All right, brilliant. But what's your next 2 weeks, Ben? If you got any?
I'm not going to set any painting targets because I've just been focusing so hard on painting. There's two things that I really want to do. One is to get my streaming actually up and running and see if it works. For those who have followed for quite a while, I used to stream. I did a few streams on YouTube, did a few streams on Twitch. Really, really enjoyed it. But my setup was dire. I couldn't get a camera that was working for my on desk stuff. As I found a way to get my phone to do that. I had found a way to my phone to do that, but it was killing my computer. So it was fine locally, but the moment I tried to stream, it just killed it. It just didn't work whatsoever. I'm hoping the new way won't do that. So I want to test out that. So I want to see if I can stream, because that would be really, really good. I really enjoyed it. If you've not streamed before, do it. I genuinely just sitting there. We all sit here and paint anyway. We all sit here and build and paint or whatever. It's always nice to do it in a group. So you stream and effectively people just talk to you. So you can just sit there and talk and listen to music, and yeah, it's really nice. So that, and I'm not going to set a painting challenge for myself because I'm going to film a YouTube video. I'm going to do it. I have everything ready. Aside from this one, obviously. This one will go out as per usual. I have everything ready to film a YouTube video. I just need to do it now. So that's why I'm not going to do any painting. What about you?
Right, I'd like to finish my 10... I think is it 10 or 20 skeletons? Can't remember what comes in Spearhead. I'll get X amount built for skeletons from my Spearhead, so I can be in preparation for my game when my daughter comes over next. And probably get a cheeky game in on the dining table, just to roll dice. No missions, no battle traits, nothing. Just basic measure. We'll just kill stuff. Make it quite nice and fun and simple. And I'm sure we can get it done in a
Warhammer game, yeah. That's how we all used to play Warhammer with my kids.
Mission. What's the mission? No, that's all right. Don't worry about that. And like yourself, my painting mojo in this heat at the moment, it's took a nosedive, and I'm not in love with painting at the moment. And I'm sure all painting hobbyists here will agree with what we're saying. It's just I don't want to see my paint evaporate on a wet palette, tile, whatever. And yeah, it's soul destroying, isn't it? So I think that's me. Just skeletons. Probably get a game in or two. Then I'm not sure if I'll be having a doubles game with my guard at my local club. Just got roped into a doubles game. I was like, okay, I'll bring some horses and we'll have a little fun. I may spice it up a little bit.
Jade, for context, because you probably don't know this, Dave has in his guard army 62 horses.
Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
62 horses. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And they're all painted.
Beautifully.
Apart from 10, I lost the will to live. Painting the last 10.
Please tell me they are like My Little Pony themed, because that would be like the most hilarious thing.
Even though my daughters would probably love that as well, but I would literally gouge my eyes out if I had to paint like most bright, vibrant colours.
It's funny.
But if anyone out there wants to paint that, do it. I will follow you. Everything. You'll have my vote.
Maybe that could be my next job.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I do know something similar. So Russ over at Cryptic Cabin, I don't know if he's still got it, but for a while he had an Iron Jaws, what's the kitty? What's it called?
What? Hello Kitty.
Yeah. They're all bright pink. So like a bright pink Iron Jaws army. It was like super insane. So I'm sure Russ has got it somewhere on his Instagram. I might have to find a link to it and post it. So if you want an army like that, Russ is the one. He took it to events and apparently like everybody commented on it. Like he was literally just like walking around and he just heard people, no context, he's not there with his army. He just overheard people talking about his army on different tables.
That's decent. And when with that you succeeded in the hobby scene, but fair play to him.
Mm.
But apart from that, that's me. How
what
about
you, Jade? Yeah. What have you been up to?
On the spot now.
I think I'm on the same wavelength of everybody with the fact that this heat has been absolutely dire. And for those that have never seen me in person, I am super pale-skinned. I am an indoor house cat. Like, the weather has not been my friend. And just when I sit there going, I can be indoors, I can paint, and I look at my poor wet palette and that is just evaporating faster than you can put water in it, I'm going, maybe not today.
Yeah.
So,
How's that work with Phil? Because Phil is like for anybody that follows Jade and Phil on Instagram, they'll know this. There seems to be this battle about tans going on at the moment, and Phil is probably the most tanned person I've ever seen in my life.
Everyone says that Phil is the only person that they've seen to be that tanned in February, because he works outdoors all day, so he's always in relative sunshine or UV, so he just naturally is a very tanned person. And then we are like ebony and ivory. I am so fair that I actually think he's only with me to make him look more tanned. Really.
The sun reflects off you and he just stands there.
Yeah. Believe it or not, this is me with a sort of tan, a sort of sun-kissedness. Honestly, we've all been calling him mahogany all week because he is literally mahogany in colour, just happy to soak up all that sun. And I'm just keep sitting there going, can I go back inside yet? It's really hot out here. But yeah, so we've got, I think we've got lots of things in the works at the moment. I've just started building the Conquest box from Parabellum Games, the dinosaurs. Obviously, for those that do know me, I am a big fan of a dinosaur. I think I'm probably one of the few that love painting dinosaur scales just because it's so cathartic. It's such a hyper focus that I can sit and just quite happily blend all of my little scales, and it's definitely been a learning curve since doing the Carnosaur model. But yeah, a friend got me the Conquest box in exchange for a commission.
Cool.
I am rubbish with Warhammer names, so we've been calling it Wizard Chicken. I believe it's the Lord of Change, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've been calling it Wizard Chicken.
The Siege Greater Demon, yeah.
So Phil called it Wizard Chicken once. That is always what I've known it as. But a friend...
Very fair.
commissioned me to do that. I refused to take payment, so I got payment in dinosaurs instead. So
Win-win.
it's a win-win, yeah. But yeah, other than that, I've got a couple of things I'm doing for Fen, the model show that's coming up that we're going to in a couple of weeks. I've got some plans for Gundam Worlds as well that I've started putting into practice. I've purchased a Gundam last week, so hopefully that will go well. Yeah, lots of thoughts, lots of plans, lots of things on the table, but weather betraying me, I have not done a great deal, and I'm going to be very honest about that.
We're all the same. Yeah, we're all the same. I mean, to be fair as well, Jade, when you do one model, your model is about the size of 40 of ours, so
Yeah,
it evens out over the year. So
I don't like this. I can't see the small models. I just every time someone's like, "Oh, do this little model," I'm going, "Where?" Like I feel too clumsy and haphazard to paint things that are like tabletop ready. I'm like, scale it up to 75 mil, and I'm with you. Anything smaller, no, thank you.
yeah, but then you get to your dioramas and you paint like itty bitty frogs and snakes and all sorts to go all over the base that are way smaller than anything we paint.
But I think it's because for you guys, you have an army and you have each figure is representative of something. Each figure will have its own role and its own job. A lot of the little tiny things that I paint just add to the volume. So it's almost like music. It's just individual notes that you're putting in, little nods to the environment, rather than it being the focus. Because if you've got a main focus, which is usually a larger thing in the diorama, you don't want everything on it pulling focus away from that one thing that you've spent ages on. So for your armies and your figures, you will spend a lot of time on the continuity, I suppose, so that you get your armies all fluid and that they all fit together. Yours are just all the same size. Mine are all variant in sizes.
So I have seen now at UK Games Expo, I got to see your stuff in real life. It's fun just to sit there and look at it and just be like, okay, where are all the little frogs? Where are all the little snakes? Just spend time like looking around it, and it's like playing Where's Wally, but with snakes and frogs. It's great.
It is good fun. I normally hide little tiny mushrooms in most of my bases because, for obvious reasons, my logo. So I like just hiding the little trinkets and things in. I think the forest base was probably the one I had the most fun making sure that it was a complete 360, so that there was something happening all the way around. So there's tiny little rabbits running in and out of burrows, or there's a fox hunting a deer that's having a drink. You know, that there's rabbits underneath the fox that the fox hasn't noticed, or the boar that's hunting mushrooms. Like, it's just trying to make something that is a bit more three-dimensional and fluid all the way around, which is sometimes what people forget about if they're doing a display piece. People normally focus, especially if you're just going to sit it on a sort of a still on a shelf, they do very forward-facing. It's only going to be viewed from this angle, so why bother really about the back? And I suppose that's really cliche with a lot of models, is that it's only going to be seen from the front, I won't paint the back. But it's trying to encourage people that you can have more dimension to what you're making, even if it's on a board, even if it's for an army, you know, having more dimension as a 360. Because if you went by the logic of, you know, oh, no one's going to see it, then you may as well only just paint the tops of all of your armies, because only anyone's going to see the tops of them, or you're only ever going to see the back of them. So, you know, do you only paint the front because that's what your opponent's going to see, or, you know, do you only paint the back because that's what you're going to see? So, you know, having a little bit more freedom to have a 360 is much, for me at least, much more interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you say, I got a prime example of that. Fletch, and I'm really sorry, Fletch, if you listen to this, I'm going to call you out. When
oh dear, sorry.
Fletcher, when Fletcher so Fletcher's the tabletop tactics painter.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible painter. When he's in a rush, he will know which angle of the model is going to be on close up for the camera. When those that watch tabletop tactics, it pans across the army quite close up. That's where he'll focus his painting if he's in a rush. So he said basically the backs of them are just like basic colours. He does go back and finish painting them. But there's a prime example of exactly that happening.
Well.
needs to be on camera, so it needs to be good from that angle,
We're
right?
all
So
guilty
it's
of
fine.
doing it at some point, especially if you've done most, 3/4 of a model and you're just like, I'm sick of painting this, just finish that last little bit and move on to the next bit. I'll get to it later, quote unquote, and you never go back to it ever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've kind of already started the topic of you Jade, but let's get into it. Straight away, there's one thing I want to ask you. Obviously, you said to me, what were the words you said?
Oh,
I'm trying to remember.
Oh no, don't quote me.
There is something silly, like you think you're not a very good model painter, or you don't enjoy model painting. But you love dioramas.
So I only paint models to make the bases. And that's apparently
Yeah.
like sacrilege to like warhammer painters, model painters, miniature painters. Everyone, like, you can hear like babies start crying and people dropping glasses. Like, what on earth? Why do you do it? But I was talking, I know we've said about some of the questions that people have had, and I've had lots of people come to my sort of pages and ask me questions, and I've got a big list of potential topics to cover on if I ever did YouTube videos, and it's people saying about like what models do I go for and things like that. And actually, I was talking with Phil and Chloe, Lady Kane, about this earlier, and I said I will only pick a model, and it doesn't matter what brand it is, what the designer is, what the sculptor is, what the printer is. I will only choose a model if I instantly can imagine what the base would look like and how the whole environment would look. And that's how I decide on something, because to me, the environment and making those small worlds is what I actually am really interested in. I started off with painting tree lords. The tree lord was the first model I ever bought. I have probably about 6 tree lords because they were actually one of the funnest and easiest things for me to build, and they are huge, and it was brilliant. But I have painted them in pretty much every season. So I've done autumn, winter, summer, spring, Japanese sakura, that kind of thing. But actually, I have found that I was having way more fun with the basing. So then, obviously, Ben, you were present when I did my demonstration for the expo, and I had someone come over that was sent. I can't remember who sent him over now. He basically had his, gotten some feedback for his models at one of the tables. And they
Was
said,
it Byron over at Artist
Byron.
Opus?
Yeah, so Byron had gone and given him some feedback on his models, and I didn't even know that Byron knew who I was. So I remember turning to Ben and going, Byron knows who I am? Oh, okay. That's okay. That's nice. And this guy saying, he said that I've got to come and speak to you about bases, and he kept harping on about this. I don't have time. This is a 2000, and I literally was like, you are talking to the wrong audience, because that is my life. I love basing, and it takes you no time. Like, I am not accepting this. This, I don't have time. If you've got time to sit and build 2,000, 4,000, whatever points army, you've got time to make sure it works, because otherwise, why would you go to all that gorgeous effort in painting a model so beautifully, to stick on a piece of cardboard or just to stick it back on its black base? In my sort of brain, it doesn't make any sense. And he kept saying, well, you're really creatively minded. And I'm like, no, I am the most rational, linear-minded person when it comes to bases, because that's who I am. If you've got an object, you wouldn't put, a miniature from one world into a base that's from a completely other world. You would put them so that they relatively fit together. So for me, if I look at a miniature and I look at a sort of a figure, or a creature or whatever it is, I can usually picture exactly what that environment would be. I'm not saying exactly what the base would be, I suppose, but I know exactly roughly the sort of environment I would put it in, and then I'd plan from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
Sorry, Dave, I was waiting for you. I thought you were going to carry on.
No, I just said that was interesting, what you were saying. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting what you're saying, because it kind of leads into my next question was, when you start to do your dioramas are visually incredible. I'm going to put that. Anybody that doesn't follow Jade, go and follow Jade. All the links are going to be in the description, everything like that. But your dioramas are incredible. My question is, when you start, do you? So you talked about like visualizing almost the world, the environment that they'll be in. When you come to then turning that into a base, do you like draw it down? Do you build it up dry and then strip it back and then rebuild it, or do you literally just make up as you go along? Like what's the process in you visualizing and starting to create what that base or that diorama looks like?
So I always joke that I'm like a bit of a Bob Ross of basing. Like I am happy with happy accidents. Honestly, a happy accident is always the way forward. I think if you put too much pressure on yourself that a base has to look like this, it will not go that way. It's the same with a model. If you think in your brain it has to look like a Golden Demon winner and, it's going to look like this person's profile or whatever, 9 times out of 10, it's never going to go that way, and you're going to get more frustrated with yourself, more frustrated with, what's like with the way it looks, the way it's fitting together. It causes you more frustration. So, with the dioramas that you saw at the expo, that was a commission by Gatehouse Gaming. So I've been working really closely with them, doing a lot of like miniature bases and stuff like that, and Mike and I had lots of conversations about how could we really elevate what the products were, and how we could push them forward to kind of fitting both our sort of needs together. Like I really like the world building, and he's got lots of scatter and terrains that some people don't really feel brave enough to go and explore, and just to show the possibilities with them. So we kind of jotted down various worlds, shall we call them, and I just started doodling out what I would think. So like I just literally got a notebook, and I would have an aerial view and a one-sided view of roughly what I wanted to have. The sort of grimdark horror base with the archway on the top, that was just, I knew straight away that I wanted that broken archway on the top, and I almost was hyper fixated on how much I wanted that broken archway, and I literally scoured through so many 3D printing sites, and I was just getting more and more frustrated until I spoke to a friend who's a local printer, and he said, I'm pretty sure I've got something similar to this. And then actually one of our friends that my partner plays against brought all this scatter for playing Warhammer in our conservatory, and I was like, that's the thing I want, but this big. Can I have that one? And he was like, he sent me all the links, and I was like, oh goodness, yes, it's great. But most of my work is accidental. It's all very natural. That it's all made of tinfoil and recycled things. So I shouldn't probably brag about it, but the grimdark base is a coffee tin. It's a coffee tin with a load of tin foil coming off it to make some steps, some stirrers to make the steps. I use predominantly like found things that you can, recycling, because models are expensive. Clay is expensive. Yes. All this terrain is expensive. So any way that I can A, make something cheaper, and B, make something lighter, because those dioramas were 10-inch cake discs. Just, being
they're huge,
cheap cake discs, but when you pile clay and solids onto it, you will end up with a sheer volume and a sheer mass. So I was like, I am going to just use tinfoil, because that will take up a space but not be as heavy. So, and it's just how the foil forms. So, if you're sat building, you can kind of do it a bit by eye on, okay, this is what I'm looking at making, or structurally this seems like it's working, or sometimes it'll be a complete crush. Throw that out the window, right, let's try redoing it, because as much as an idea will look great in my head, in practice maybe it's not right for what I need it to be. But smaller bases, for like my Seraphon Lancers and stuff like that, it is literally just cork sheeting off of Amazon. Just pile it up and see how that forms, and then kind of thinking, okay, how am I going to work around that?
That's your basis through and through, right, Dave? For your God, that's all cork and
water
effects.
All cork, water down sand,
Yeah.
and my water effect. That's it. It's where you got to try to not draw the eye away from the model, if that makes sense, with the basing. Because, as you said, I don't understand why people don't want to put as much effort into the base as they done to the model. It's like, but it would totally rob
base
the
mix
model.
guy over here.
Yeah. But to be honest, the base kits that are out now are insane because they look so professionally done now. Because you can look up to a model going, oh, that's nice coloured sand or whatever. How do you do that? And you go, no, I just put PVA on, apply, jobs are good and done.
But it's like the guy that came over at the expo, and he was saying how he's got, I don't even know what the models were, but he'd had the model and then he'd had about an inch worth of like fake cement or fake tarmac, and then you could see the disc. And in my brain, I'm sat thinking, if you think rationally about that model, if it was a real life thing, I think it was like a Space Marine or something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And you think, if that was a real life thing, it would be huge, it would weigh a ton, and you've got this gorgeously smooth tarmac that is better than some UK roads, but that Space Marine has got there somehow. How, like, there's no interaction with the base, so you've got, as much as that's painted really nicely, it creates too much us and them. So I literally, I felt really awful doing it, but I was like, him saying it takes too long to do this thing, and I literally stuck about 3 pieces of cork to a base, dipped the whole pot in a pot of like no man's land sand that I had just happened to be open for the diorama, and lifted the whole thing back out, and I went, what about that? And he went, oh. I didn't mean to be so like blunt with it. I was like, but it's like 2 minutes,
Yeah.
And it was just an extra, like 2 minutes of extra thought. I think people are too quick to just go, oh, that's too much for me. And I'm kind of going, but is it though? Could you maybe try a little bit? Maybe? I don't know.
See, I'm a big fan of the base mixers. I think I'm about economy. People who have spent many, many hours creating these base mixers, they're really good at it. You look at like Scenics, you look at Mike over at Gatehouse Gaming, the Geek Scenics, everything like that. These people have gone away and they've worked out, if I mix this and this, it creates this. I use this grade of sand and this grade of rock and mix these together. What I'm doing is I'm just valuing all of their hard effort and going, yeah, that's perfect. I'll just dip my thing in and you've done all the work for me, right? So it's worked perfectly, and then I stick a few tufts on, and I'm sure it's fine. Jade's looking at me like I'm insane, but
no, but you are right, because I helped, like myself and Lady Kane were helping Mike develop the big army dip pots, because we get it. If you've got 62 horses, so to speak, and you're having to base them all relatively in the same or similar war zone or similar field, you need the consistency. So we've sat and we've looked at, like, as you say, the grains of sand, the grading of like the scatter and the rubble that goes within these, so that you get nothing sinks, so that you should get a consistent dip every time you do it. So I'm not about saying that everyone's bases have to look dioramic and they have to look like lead character, because Christ, if you had armies full of lead characters, no one would be playing on tabletop. Nobody would have anything ready yet. It's more a case of it's just this very safe space. I think everyone's kind of fallen into, especially for people who just want to play.
Yeah.
As the flip side to me, who just wants to like make lead character stuff. It's a very safe zone of going, I'm just going to do this basic and that suits me fine. And if that's what you want, then that's absolutely fine. And you keep doing what you're doing. So long as you love what you're doing, then that's the main thing. But I think coming to someone for advice and then using that, but I've got this, I've not got the time, it's a choice. It's like me getting better with my painting. My Carnosaur has been one of the most popular things people have like messaged me about. She went on display at numerous different painting competitions, and loads of people just came and said, I loved going and seeing her because she was different. She was, pink and blue dinosaur, but she was one of the first things that I spent some designated time painting the model. and actually painting all of her scales and really practicing my wet blending and trying to get better. And that's what I wanted, and I was happy for the feedback, and I actually acted on the feedback. It's if you don't want to change, then that's fine. If you're happy in your lane, you stay in your lane. But don't then sit and criticize and say, well, I don't have time because it takes too long, when there are people out there, not just myself, I mentioned her already, but Lady Kane, she does her quick videos with her contrast on how to be successful. There are doors and avenues open to everybody if you want to progress, but don't feel pressured to change, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like where I learnt a method called slap chop through Heresy. Dan from Heresy is My Therapy.
Yeah.
Because I was stuck in my old ways of doing old school painting, layer by layer, and when you have kids and stuff, your time is not as much as you thought it was before you had kids. That you could do all that slow methods.
I move differently now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I had to evolve with the times, if that makes sense. As like you said, it's like some people seek change but don't like the criticism back. It's like, well, if you want to evolve your techniques or your hobby journey, as they'll say, then you need to evolve. Otherwise, as you said perfectly, stay in your lane. If you don't, that's all it is. Like, and no one's forcing you to change. It's up to you at the end of the day. But yeah, so I learned slap chop, and I've showed Ben how to do slap chop. Now he's like evolved onto Golden Boys now with his dirt and grind.
I still slap chopping though. It's just a little bit less than I was on all my scaling a full slap chop.
I've had some really rubbish feedback on my painting. I've been red to fill on my painting. And it's actually, it's shocked some people, when I've gone to competitions and I've been given the feedback and I've told people what my feedback was and they've gone, no way. And I'm like, yeah, but it is. But it's actually the best thing for me because I am stubborn as a mule that I will go, oh, really? Oh, you think that's this, is it? Okay, well, I'm going to show you what this is then and I'm going to do it. And that's what actually stemmed me into doing dioramas because I was like, okay, go big or go home then. If you think, my work is lacking contrast and lacking this, I'm going to show you what that is then. And just go for it, head on in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think we can all agree we're all stubborn. And if someone criticises us and go, all right then, I'm going to prove you wrong. Watch this space. And like, bam, just like, in your eyes, it'd be like a masterpiece. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll just shut up now. And like, yeah, it's brilliant.
I mean, I'm going to come back to basics again because it's my life. That's my personality now. I do think basings come on. Yeah, basing. I think basing materials have come on. So, I mean, when I first started, I just didn't bother painting my bases. Early days, just didn't bother. And then I transitioned onto pastes, the texture pastes. Yeah. Oh yeah, did those. Maybe put a wash on it. If I was feeling really good, I'd dry brush it, then I colour over the top again. Went hard.
Splashing out there.
Oh, yeah. But I feel like that used to be like the thing. That used to be almost as far as people went.
Bill was saying it's like green flock. Green flock.
Yeah, green flock.
Oh,
yeah.
Green flock, everything.
PVA, green flock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like it's come on massively with I mean, yeah, you look at like Gatehouse Gaming. Mike's been around for it's 10 years this year. And he's now brought out, thanks to you and Chloe, finally, he's brought out his base mix pots and stuff like that. And there's a few different companies that do it. I think that's so much easier than using those pastes, and you get such a better finish. I have evolved again. I'm not even using PVA anymore. Now, who did I see? I think it was Spence paints. He uses those, does the pastes then as the dip, so he doesn't use PVA, he uses those pastes as the glue. Yeah. So now I've done that with my Space Marines because it changes then the undertones that sit within it. So I use the AK Desert paste, so then it creates deserty undertones to it, which it didn't before with PVA because it then just pulled the black through.
It's why I use muddy ground for everything.
Yeah, I think that's what Spencer uses. I think he uses that, or like there's a trench one or something like that.
Yeah, there is a trench one.
Yeah, but like for me, it's just so super simple. It feels like basing's come a long way since the green flock or just pure texture paste days, and it's not hard.
I think
It's really, if I can do it, anybody can.
I think people are just thinking about it a bit more. It's having that rationale of nowhere in the world looks like a green flock surface unless you go to an astroturf. Like nowhere that you can think of, and even like I think it's too far of a stretch to say, oh, it's fantasy, because it doesn't even look fantasy. So it's actually pushing people to kind of think, okay, you know, what more can I do? I really love that, you know, there's one of the people that both Phil and I follow, Sarah of the Leafy Greens. She hand paints all of her bases in these gorgeous, like, colour poppy patterns. There's nothing else really to them, you know, other than like making the odd little mushroom or something like that to go with it. But she paints these gorgeous things, and they're just so different. And it's just such a great thing to see that people are now stepping beyond that, you know, tub of sand, tub of flock, and a tuft. People are just trying something new and finding their own sort of expression with their bases, which is really great to see.
Dave, I'm hijacking Jade's time here. I do this every time I get a guest. I just steal all of their time. I do. I get really excited. I have so many questions that I want to ask. I'm sorry, Dave. I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's fine. Thank you very much. Yes. So with your dioramas, so how do you go about because we spoke to Matt where we talk about foliage, for example, and how was your thinking process of when you did you put that foliage on before you did it, or was it after, or how did you go about in the process of like big leaves go here because you don't want to when you're like, is it like looking at a picture, or looking at I don't know, whatever, I can't think of abbreviation now. My brain's gone dead. It's like when you look at like a woodland. So when you look at woodlands, for example, so obviously you see like the leaves are bigger, closer, and when it's further away, they get smaller. So how do you go about with what type of texture or leaves, especially in your Gundam style thing, so it doesn't overwhelm the base? Because is the thing with dioramas, you need to tell a story, don't you? With the thing, and you don't want, as you said, I think previously, you don't want it to be focused on one point. You want people to look around it. So how did you go about in the process of the Gundam style? Like, what was your idea behind it? It's like, how did you come to execute with everything, pretty much? I'm just rabbling on now.
So
I don't think I'm making sense.
No, I get what you're saying. So I get that question a lot, like how do I compose a base and how do I think about how it's going to look and what sort of adds and what detracts. You know, the base that everybody sees will be the 20 millionth variation. There has been scatter added, taken off, moved, shifted. It's all about thinking about the natural environment. So the Gundam base, I love tropical bases, I love forest bases, because I like to think I understand the environment a little bit if I treat it rationally. So when I built the Gundam, Phil built the Gundam. I'm not going to take that credit from him. Phil built the Gundam and he built me the steps, because I built a first set of steps that I lost my temper with and couldn't get it right, and was like, can you please look at this? I've cut all the pieces. It's like a horrible Jenga. I can't figure it out. Can you please build this? And then once we got it situed on the base, I kind of just started using natural cork pieces that you can get for like reptile terrariums. And again, it kind of goes back to that happy accent of like building up layering, because people have a very big habit of doing us and them bases. So the miniatures up here, little bits of scatter, there's no middle ground. Whereas actually I like to think of how we would get the layers in and how we would build numerous different sort of areas and levels. So you'd get like in a woodland, you would have large forest ferns, you'd have large scale trees staggering down to like, if you do it top to bottom, large trees, you would have smaller shrubbery, you would have plants, and then you would have the
Oh
smaller
wow.
sort of crops and sort of seedlings and creature habitats and little nooks and things for things to be in around the bottom.
Mm.
If you incorporate that in with your basing, it actually helps you visualize and frame what you're doing.
Hmm.
Because again, you can build up that environment, stick your model in the middle of it, and if there seems to be like a gap between the foliage and the model, it's still going to create an us and them situation. Whereas actually,
Yeah.
I find it a really common thing. Phil does it all the time. The amount of times he's built his little skeletons and he's put them on these lovely like broken cobble ground, muddy ground, puddles and leaves and all these different things. And I'm like, why have these skeletons not got anything on their legs? They've walked through
Proper
mud.
clean cut.
Yeah, why are they clean? They're dead. Why have they got nothing on their legs? You know, why is there not like leaves coming up through their like muddy capes, or, you know, figuring out if you've got larger ferns or larger leafed plants, there would be smaller things that would grow potentially underneath, depending on, you know, if you look at tropical rainforests, there are natural layering to them that certain plants will like to be protected under larger leaf plants because that's where, you know, they'll be perhaps the moisture will be kept in because they don't get as much sunlight. It's just trying to think of all those different ways to incorporate texture and shape into something, especially with a Gundam that is quite boxy and quite mechanical and square. Having some of that flora to build it round, just to make it feel a bit more at home and into its environment. So having those different layers, either building it up with sheet cork or natural cork, you can start like pushing bits of foliage into the gaps, because again, that's where plants would grow from in the real world. If you think about it, you know, I've got on the Gundam, there's a snake crawling out or slithering out from under some logs, because again, that's where they would live. Frogs in amongst the sort of the root pools because the water's pooled there, and that's where they'd probably quite happily splosh through. I'm obviously not a geologist or, you know, any form of professional in regards to environments, but I loved geography as a kid, and I loved like understanding volcanic worlds and all these different places that I just don't think I was ever quite bright enough to, or, you know, mature enough in my studies. I liked colouring in too much. So, you know, I stuck very much to arts and crafts because that was my safety zone. But I think if you think about worlds and your environment, similar to like having the mechanical machinery, if they're going through a war-torn, you know, cityscape, breaking up that concrete, you would have plants if it was a wasteland or if it was like an ex-city that's been desolate for years. Nature has a way of trying to overcome and finding its way back. So don't be afraid to kind of stick things in the gaps, because again, it'll hide the horrible glue joins as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. It sounds like a lot more goes into it than you realise. Because how long did it take you to think of the design and placement when you said you do like sketches, like rough sketch, like the front and the side view? So how long, or did you just like, you know what, I'm just gonna whack it all on?
It's about
and
10 minutes.
Pray for the best.
It's about 10 minutes. It's about a 10-minute sketch. They're not. Yes, I was an illustrator before everything, so people will naturally put that I was an illustrator and then hear sketch and go, oh God, she's going to have done this amazing. And no, it is literally like coffee table doodle with a biro, just sat there scribbling away. So I know the basic structure of what I would like to have. Okay. It kind of goes back to the original point of, you know, don't have your heart set on this is exactly how it's going to go. Because I would sit there and go, I think this will fit. And then I would turn the whole base round. So I've got a cake stand or like an old clay potter's wheel that I do everything on so I can turn them as I work. And I would turn the whole thing around and go, what about this? And Phil would go, no, too much there. Or, you know, that looks too busy. He would be like my ADHD chill out. You've put too much on this now, rein it back again. Because I have a habit of just throwing everything at it and hoping something will stick, and then sometimes I will go away, look at it, and go, "Oh, what have I done? Oh no, 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 no! I need to try and rein it back, start pulling things off of it to see actually less is more." Weirdly, like
Yeah.
having the nods to these plant life and having variety in the plant life rather than just going, "Here's a pot of hedging, put the whole pot of hedging on this base." That'll be fine. It's giving yourself, as you said, more texture, more variation, and thinking more about how it interacts with your model. Building up those layers, though, is super key for like starting anything. I don't think I have anything that is actually touching the original base in my collection. I honestly couldn't say off the top of my head. I don't think anything is actually touching the original like black disc from like Warhammer or wherever.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought
It's
it
my
was
turn
that
again.
something.
Do I get to carry on?
I've got one
No,
more
no.
question anyway. Just one more
Oh
question.
no, go on, go on.
Um,
Get too excited.
Where I'm always intrigued about large bust models. Is it called bust models? Large bust models. So
Busts,
where do you get yours from? Just out of curiosity, because I'm just scrolling through your Instagram and just saw like the vampire one type thing and stuff like that.
That one is from, I believe it's Mythic Models UK. I'm just going to check. That is my friend who lives over in Leicester. Yeah, so Justin at Mythic Models UK, he printed that one for me. He basically had a huge collection of, I can never think what, he has like sellers listings for that he has the rights to be able to print and sell these sets of models. I will usually ask him because I went through a phase where, especially last year at Expo, I was like, I want to do a bust. I want to do a bust, and that's my thing. And hardly anywhere had any. That I was actually somewhat disappointed about it, kind of going, well, hang on a minute, there's everything at the Expo. What do you mean there's no busts here? What?
It wasn't great for busts.
No.
Yeah.
So I found him on Etsy, and I didn't realise that he is literally a 10-minute drive away from my house, which is a really dangerous thing when I go, I need this printing. Can I pick that up on the way home from work? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. I'll get you sorted. And I'm like, oh gosh, no, I'm going to spend a fortune. But yeah, he's really good. We've picked up a couple. So I had a couple from Mammoth, the new sort of mushroom woman that I'm doing at the moment, the green and purple. She's from Mammoth. Yeah, there's a couple of places, that I normally try and tag the sites when I share the model. I tend to try and tag who it is I've got it from, just to help other bust interested people. I don't know what you'd call them, bust enthusiasts, to find them. I think that's more a wider demographic than I think that is.
Yeah, I wouldn't put bust enthusiasts into Google. You're going to get quite a specific thing for that.
It's going to be a completely different site.
That'd be a dangerous rabbit hole to go down, but I'll probably go down there eventually.
Oh yes, it's definitely a rabbit hole.
Tiz is really good for that. So Tiz paints.
And she's a gorgeous human being. Gorgeous human being as well.
Yes, she is. Yeah, Tiz has got some incredible busts.
It's all you.
Yeah. Okay. So you kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. So have you got like a particular favourite type of scene that you try and replicate? I think you sort of said jungly forests, but sort of is that your favourite and why?
So I started doing the forest spaces when I saw the Seraphon Lancers at Warhammer World, and I was like, mine. I will not. I literally pulled a toddler tantrum and was like, I am not leaving here without these. I have this really awful habit that I am like a child, that I will literally pick them up, hold them in my arms, and just grin at Phil, and he'll look at me as if to go, you've got, like, he kind of has that girl from it, you've got loads at home, and I'm like, but they're pretty though. But look,
I don't have these at home.
Yeah, these ones, look, and think of all the things I could do. So because I'd started working with Mike and doing the sort of sample bases, I suppose, they were just like 40mm discs. I cut a load on the laser cutter at work. I've got a gorgeous technician. She will always cut me 40mm. Out of all the spare acrylic, I'm like, any offcuts, please, can I have 40mm bases or 100mm bases, please? And she will always come to me with a freshly cut pile, which is great. So I was making loads of samples up, and I just fell into the rhythm with the Seraphon, the sort of, it sounds really cheesy, and I don't know whether people will get the reference. It's like the old Road to El Dorado. Like, I loved that film
Yeah.
as a kid, and just that old Aztec Mayan sort of lost
Yeah.
world is just, kind of like Atlantis as well. Those kind of old school
Yeah.
Pixar, DreamWorks films. I know everyone raves about Disney, but like the old DreamWorks and Pixar films that just had such a nice quality for like historical accuracy and looking at that other world that wasn't so fairy tale. These were places that you could kind of, there are nods to in history that I just really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I really love the forest spaces because it takes that mixed ability between like having some architectural landmarks, having some structure and stonework, and kind of a little bit of humanity element to it,
Mm-hmm.
but that idea of the world being completely engulfed in those gorgeous rich greens and building
Yeah.
through, which is probably sacrilege because my most popular base has definitely been that sci-fi base that I was petrified to absolutely make because it is the first thing ever sci-fi from me, like even remotely, that
Yeah.
I had to enlist one of my best friends, Ian, to come and help me build it. He's procrastinating on Instagram, and I literally went to him and I was like, "You are structurally minded. Please help me build this structure. I know vaguely what I want, vaguely what me and Mike are talking." Then the idea changed again because I think it got lost in translation a little bit when you were talking via 3 different message chats, Instagram and WhatsApp. And he built it, and just I went to pick it up and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I have to do this paint job justice because it was all built out of like board game sprues, for lack of a better
Oh,
phrase.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
punch cards where you punch
Yeah. Well,
counters
you
and
punched
stuff
them
out
out.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like a lot of the framework is all punched cards, like
Ah,
spares and stuff
interesting.
like that. So I thought to myself, oh God, I sat there ummed and ahed. I think it got base painted 14 times. Phil was like, oh my God,
Wow.
stop repainting it. You just need to just put some colour on it. Because I was trying to do it to Necromunda. I was trying to go for, I'm trying to do something for everybody. And, I've done the grim dark horror and I've done
Yep.
like the high fantasy Gundam, and I kind of was ticking boxes with the Space Wolves Frost base, and I was trying to do something for everyone. I was really worried about doing this sci-fi pace because I was like, I don't know this. Maybe if I did it more like arcane based and did it more like Jinx, and the minute I put my colours to it, the pink and blue, I was like, I was just sat with paint pens, just scribbling. I gave myself permission just to scribble all over it, and it just instantly became like my favourite thing to sit and doodle on.
It's very like synthwave esque.
Yeah.
It's like those sort of really bright pinks, really bright purples, blues, stuff like that. It's really cool.
It's
It's a lot of
channeling
fun, that
like
one.
Daft Punk and Tron all mixed
Yeah.
together, I think.
Yeah, but that it is. You're right. It is like polar opposite from you. Yeah, you look at like even like the snow you did, the forest one, and Gundam. They're all sort of very heavy foresty.
Yeah.
They are putting out a lot of those greens, like a lot of the Aztec aspects you were sort of talking about. To go over to something like very synthwave sci-fi's, they are
Comfort
very
zone
different. But you
well
pulled them
and
off.
fully out.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you pulled them off both so well. They both look fantastic. And even better in real life. So if you get the chance to go and see them in real life, please do. They are fantastic.
They're now with Gatehouse now. The only
Yeah.
one that I've managed to smuggle back is the Gundam.
Oh,
That
okay, nice.
Gatehouse
So yeah,
now
Mike's got
owns.
those then.
Mike's got them all. Pride of place in his house, I believe. They'll go to shows when he goes to shows. I just have to work on building more, apparently. So we'll have to see how I can go bigger than the 10-inch bases. Maybe do one ginormous, like, 20-inch base. But
You get those
I
like big
know that,
wedding cake discs, right? They're
yeah.
huge.
Well, you joke about this, but I've been talking with Cerberus Studios about making their new display map. So that's me making that now. So I've got big plans for that over the summer break. over the next 6 weeks to make something again completely different. But it keeps things interesting. It's not a 20,000 point army of the same thing, because I think I might lose the will if I had to do something. Not for me.
Each to their own.
Yeah, not
yeah,
for
each
me.
to their own. Yeah. That's super interesting. So I'm going to go slightly more corporate, commercially type stuff now. So there's a couple of them. You've kind of talked about what your bases are before. What are they? Where do you get them from?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be number one.
Okay.
The second one would be, obviously, we've talked about it. You've got tons of stuff that's set on your bases that are sort of hidden away or tucked away and stuff like that. There's loads of scatter on there, stuff like that. Where's sort of your favourite place to pick that sort of stuff up from? And I guess it's talking about the different layers as well, going from like scatter to the sort of trees to the plants, stuff like
that. So bases I tend to pick up. I normally have, your standard Warhammer bases, so I will usually hit up eBay. I will usually keep as well eye out on charity shops, especially locally. If you find old, car boots and things where some poor soul has left his entire Warhammer collection in his mum's loft, and she's gone, I don't want this. You just sell it for a couple of quid. That's usually a very lucky find if I can find something like that. But I do have a gorgeous technician at work. I am very lucky that I do work with creatives, so we have the facilities, I can laser cut things relatively to what I need. Not massive, obviously, but I can get things laser cut. Or cake discs, bits of cardboard, cake discs, Pringles lids is normally a cheeky one that I normally sometimes resort to. Hairspray pots, like lids, caps for hairspray lids, or like deodorant lids, depending on the can size and depending on the model size, is usually a good substitute for plinths. But yeah, cake discs, anything like that. I am, like I said, a big fan of a recycled object. So I know these things are expensive. So if I can find things that would be easy enough to use and that would be structurally sound to hold some weight to it, even if it's like a hairspray lid, I'll stuff it with tinfoil because it'll keep it compact, but not make it really heavy. In regards to like purchasing like things, where I get things from, I have a habit of finding like something I love and then it being discontinued. It is like I've got like almost like the kiss of death on certain products, which I'm like, oh. When I first started basing, I found in a little hobby shop in Leamington Spa these awesome, they look like horsehair tall grasses, and I use them on everything. I use them to make tufts with, I use them to make dry grasses on like wetland, everything. But now I've had to start being really stingy with them because I think they were owned by a company that COVID just 86, they just killed them off. It was a German company. I've never seen them since, and I have to now start being really stingy with where I use them because I'm beginning to really run low, which makes me really sad. But I will pick up bits everywhere. I tend to use AK Muddy Ground for like my my sort of basing, for like getting that texture on rockware and things like that. If I'm feeling really cheap, I will try and make my own. It never quite comes out the same. But some PVA glue, some acrylic paint and some sand just thrown in. You can usually get different grits and different textures for that. Tufts, I've just purchased some Siege. I've not had a chance to use them yet, so I'm still like waiting. I am probably, like most gamer grass, Tufts are my go-to. They've just started doing I've just found out about their gorgeous like starter boxes that you get, like it's £20. You get tweezers, glue, and like a loads of selection in there, which is really good value for considering how much you pay for each item. So I tend to go with them for that sort of thing. But yeah, Sands and Scatter.
On a tangent,
go on.
Did you see their? I saw it on Luna Bacon Paints. She did a reel the other day about it. They've brought out like a flower set, and they do like little flower meadows.
Yeah,
they look incredible. So it's like scaled down flowers. So they've got like a
trying
whole
to get
set with loads of different types of flowers on.
trying to get their flowers at the moment has been like gold dust because they're having a
Has
massive
it?
overhaul. Apparently, they're having a massive overhaul where they're doing a massive restock and they're launching like loads of new flower products. So trying to like when I'm sat here going, yeah, but I need these now. I'm
Yeah.
impatient. I don't want to wait. I'm sure they're lovely, but hang on. I want the other ones that I needed. But no,
Yeah.
so there are big things coming from them apparently from what I've seen online. But yeah, um, I'm a sucker for gatehouse sands at the moment. It
Yeah.
sounds really, oh, she's in the pocket and of course she does because she's working with them. But I honestly, I use it for everything. They have a sand for everything. Some of the stuff is a bit outlandish for me. Not really
Yeah.
not something that I would fit with my bases, but actually I've known really good friends to go, oh my God, this would be perfect with mine.
Yeah.
Mike has something for everybody. I know you've had him on. Um, he keeps toying with the fact of he's got like 160 new possible lines coming, which is great for the person that has to photograph all those. And yes,
Yeah.
me with
Enjoy
mug
that.
written across my forehead. But no, he's got so much choice, and there is something for everyone there. That even if you wanted something so specific, Mike is the sort of person you could ask, and he
Yeah.
would bend over backwards to try and make you that blend if it was possible. And that's just, it's a good quality product. It's, sustainably sourced. And I'm all for that because we're all pumping more plastic, more resin into the universe. That if we can do a little bit to
Yes, we
save the
are.
planet, maybe we can kind of do that.
Yeah. I think I've only got a couple more. Do you know actually, I'll go to one of the ones that I literally came in yesterday from Meg.
Yeah.
Was have you got any sort of tips on deciding your composition, mapping different elements? She's looking for that. What are your big tips, big hitters?
So a thing that I repeated continuously at the expo was look at the model. It always frustrates me when you have a model that's in a dynamic pose. So, for example, you have horses that are running. I'm sorry, Dave, I feel like I'm coming for you constantly, but it's the most recent thing that's
Yeah,
just in my
Dave.
brain. But it's the most recent thing that we've talked about. So, like, having horses that are running. If you're going to have them running, you would have to think about the ground that they would be on. It doesn't mean that the ground has to be perfectly flush. You can have them running uphill or downhill because horses are dynamic enough that they can move over up and down over different surfaces. If you had horses in a pose where, their front hooves are raised up, you can have it so that it looks like something's abruptly stopped in front of them, or if there's a crack in the earth that's causing them to leap over it, it just adds a bit more range within the base. So looking at the pose, even if it's a single figure, a single soldier that's standing, if their foot is naturally raised up and GW's put them based on the token small
Hero
rock.
rock.
Yeah, the hero
Tactical
rock.
rock.
Tactical rock has been initiated, but then everyone puts that on a flat disc. So you have this flat
Yep.
round disc with tactical one singular rock, and then
One rock.
the ground is smooth all the way round, and you're going, why is that one? How has he managed to? If he's walking along, how
He
has he
takes it with
managed?
him. It's in his bag. Yeah,
How
he
has
gets
he?
out of his bag every time he stands still.
How has he managed to constantly stand on that one rock? So looking at the bases and looking at the sort of the pose, the army, and again, if you've got a whole army of different things, so I use Phil's as a reference because I see that one probably more so than most people's. He's got skeletons, vampires, bats. So he will have things on, some things that he'll have on footing, like troop soldiers, the little skeletons. And I said to him, if you imagine a battlefield plane, and again I go for like historical reference, if you imagine World Wars, World War Two, if you imagine if everyone's fighting in the same field, the environment is not going to be exactly the same at every single point of that battle. You're going to have in the centre fold where more foot soldiers are trooping through, it's going to be more muddied, more weathered, more, where water will gather and it will be like deep, thicker sludge. Whereas around the peripherals of a war zone, everyone will want the moral high ground because it's, a better vantage position. So you will have areas that are rockier, and you can have your leader stood up on a higher ground because how can they lead if they can't see what's going on? And that's my really childish vantage of my way of thinking, because although you're all on the same plane, you can look at a city, look at London. There are boroughs of London that look different, but it's still London. So you can have an area of a forest that has a river running through it, or you can have an area, and they're all still part of the same army, but it's actually encouraging your figures and your models to interact with that. So usually I will just if I grab a disc and I will pile cork up onto the top of it, and then just see how it looks from there, just to give myself some height. I can always take away, I can always add in, I can then fill the gaps. Rather than having a gap in the groove filled with resin, I can fill it with sand and fill it with earth, and it makes it look like a dry ground. I can have it that it's a crack and I fill it with greenery because the plants are growing up through it. It's just having that choice. And I have a pot of just ripped up bits of cork. There's no intention to it. I just sit and I'll break it and stick it into a pot, and then I'll just take out random pieces and stack them. And you can have cavernous, I've got the trogoths that are all, I've done them with crystals and cave dwellery type trogoths instead of very typical leafy green covered in mushrooms, that sort of thing. I think of more like dark crystal living under the ground, that sort of thing. And it just changing, although it's still cork and it's still layered cork, all my bases start the same, but you can create completely different worlds just by adding in different scatters, which again I've picked up from Gatehouse, mushrooms and all, skulls, anything like that. I can usually pick up from then. If I can't find certain things in particular, I tend to hit up Element online, or I'll just sit and look through people's Instagrams. Instagram is an amazing resource for finding out what other people are doing, and it's not stealing people's ideas, it's actually the sharing and the community of it. And I've even turned around to people and gone, how do I do this? I honestly don't know. I can't think of how to do this. I'm really struggling. And weirdly, someone who I never thought would be helpful with this, I asked my dad. It's a very female, it's a very, Dad, I don't know how to do this, but he is so clever with problem solving that I had to build the bridge for the Space Wolves, and I was sat there for ages, and my dad was like, any balsa wood or lollipop sticks. That's all you need. Lollipop sticks, coffee stirrers, and just build it as slats. Yeah. And I was like, of course, the simplest of things. How did I not think of that? But yeah, I think it's just building up layers first, and they're free to move. Even if you just tack with some PVA, tack your bits down first. I'm a bit heavy-handed with super glue normally, and I'm normally glued to half my bases. But just having a play and moving those bits of cork and layers round, and just sit in, blue tack your model on top of it, and see how it looks. Do a 360 all the way around to see if it looks like it fits within that role, and that it is interacting with the floor it's sat on. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
I fear I'm waffling now.
No, it's genuine. I just sat here silently because it's just really it's really good, really it's really good information. It's coming over in a really good way. It's a way that I certainly understand, which is good for me.
It's weird to have people actively interacting and listening to me because my students never do this.
That's the pleasures of being a secondary school teacher, right? You're just talking to a blank wall half the time. So
it's like stone cold look.
Yeah. Oh, it's the judgmental looks all day. Judgmental looks all day.
Yeah. I've got one big question left, Dave, but it might be best leaving it till the end. Don't worry, Jade. It's an easy one. So
I think I managed to answer all my questions in 3 swings.
Oh, really?
It's like you have definitely inspired me to potentially do some dioramas, maybe small on
Yeah.
plinths, maybe just to spice up and change my paint and palette, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Palette cleanser. There we go. Got there eventually. But no, so I'm short and sweet. That's what I'll say.
If it takes some of the fear out as well, I know some people are a bit hesitant because, Warhammer bases are like gold dust. You get so many in the box, and that's your allotment. There are no room for mistakes. That, take bits of cardboard. Everyone has so much recycling nowadays, or at least I hope so. That you can take bits of cardboard and just sit and rip it up and sit and stack bits on top of each other just to see how you fare with it. You can pick up, I use like Daz clay, the works, it's like £2 for a pack, and I leave it, well, in this weather, it can dry in about an hour, but in the winter, I leave it sitting on a radiator, it's dry overnight. It's moldable enough that you can sit and play with it. It's cheap enough that you're not going to sort of sob yourself to sleep if it goes wrong. If you want something a bit more flexible, I've recently discovered air foam clay, which is like the bizarrest stuff going, because it's like I kept saying to Phil he couldn't eat it because it looks like marshmallow fluff, and it feels like marshmallow fluff, but it'll set really hard, which was what the outside perimeter of the sci-fi base to give that rocky sort of feel was. Because again, it's super light, so when it dries, there's no weight. I kept handing the sci-fi base to people, going, "Look, there's no weight to it. It's brilliant. I'm so proud." But it just takes the cost out of things. That if you're just using recycled things, I think people feel a little bit freer to kind of make mistakes with it.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a lot of good pointers that you've given us, and all these new diorama experts to be, as they say.
Oh God. Too much pressure.
But no.
I'm not an expert.
Yeah,
I'm still
I like
learning.
it. Yeah. You're the diorama queen, Jade. You need to accept the mantle. You can start wearing a crown wherever you want.
That's the title of the podcast of this episode.
No, it's got to
diorama
be.
queen.
It's got to be. What was it? Dirt and discs. Disc and dirt.
Disc and dirt.
After the horrible comments from the expo. Did I not tell you about this? Did I not tell you about this?
I'm not sure. No.
So on the Sunday when I was doing my demonstration, some woman walked past, and I'm really hard to upset, so I just take everything as a laugh. She walked past me, and while I was doing this little demonstration stuff, and I wasn't really paying any mind. And she walked past and she went, "Oh right, yeah, let's buy some expensive dirt and stick it on some discs." And I just thought it was the most hilarious thing, because she's not wrong. Because that's essentially what we're doing. It's just dirt and discs. And I just thought it was brilliant that I kind of want to have a YouTube channel called Dirt and Discs.
Dirt and Dirt. Well, my wife gets really confused when I get the pre-mixed stuff, because she's like, "What? You've spent money on some sand?" I'm like, "Yeah, but it's sand with rocks in. It's got a little bit of rocks in. Some of them got a little bit of flocky in them." And she's just like, "You've just bought mud." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I've done. Yeah, sorry."
Go to the beach. Go to the beach, it's free.
Yeah, so you just go and make this yourself. I'm like, I could,
yeah.
But someone spent a long time making it for me, so...
You can hear every 80s and 90s parent going, "We've got dirt at home."
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I like what Dave said. The exact same thing happened at Expo. We spoke on the... When was I there? Saturday, Sunday. We spoke on the Saturday for the first time in person and stuff like that, and I literally went away on that Saturday evening, and my brain was just buzzing about what could I do. I'm really sort of driven towards it. And then I literally came to you on the Sunday. I think we sat down on the Sunday for an hour talking through my ideas, something like that. We were there for ages talking it through. I think the way you explain it, the way your passion for it, it is quite. I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is. Addictive. It's very
obnoxious.
It's no, absolutely not though. That's the thing. It's almost the polar opposite of that.
Infectious.
You do it in such a infectious, yeah. It's the way that you explain it, and your passion for it is super, super infectious. And hopefully, other people that are listening to this will go and build more dioramas, because it'd be better on my Instagram feed. It's nice to see more dioramas.
I really just hope it's useful, because I feel like I don't get asked questions as much as I thought I would get asked questions. Like, I have a same set of people that will always come to me, and it's absolutely gorgeous that I'm always happy to help. But I always feel like people aren't brave enough to ask because I think that they feel like they're bothering me, but actually, it's why I started. I'm a teacher in real life, so for
Mm.
me, it's why I do my profession. It's why I'm happy to help people. You know, everyone always compares their work to mine. I always say to them, I have 3 degrees in art and design. I have a massive upper hand. Like, I am not going to pretend like I just, yeah, you know, I started miniature painting 2 years ago, but I also started an art and design career, let's say 20 years ago, to be generous. So it's, you know, people will think, oh, you know, you've only started it 2 years ago and look at what you're making. And I'm going, but I have a background and have been learning this my life. It is my life, and it's I will hyper fixate on it. And who knows, maybe next year I won't be doing miniatures at all, and I will have a complete different hyper fixation. I don't know. Hopefully not, because I am really enjoying doing it. But you know, it's hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully I haven't waffled too much, and hopefully it's helped at
No,
least
no.
one
No,
person
no.
or two people. At least if it's helped you two, then I'm happy.
100%.
Win-win.
100%. Every time we talk, I learn stuff, Jade. So it's not. It's
Yay.
good. It's always good for me.
Informative.
And Expo, like you had so many people come and chat to you at Expo. It was crazy. At one point, I'm pretty sure I turned around
Terrifying.
and there was like half of the Instagram community stood around you. Because it was weird. I've not seen anybody like all day, and then I came to you. I literally looked up and I was just like, "What? How are like 500,000 followers just rocked up in this one place?" It was insane.
It was like that weird moment where I was very nervous that nobody would come. That nobody would come, and you know, it would just be Phil because he is like my number one supporter, and I'm okay with that. And you know, and Ian obviously was working at the stand, so I was like, and I knew Chloe and Becky would be there, so I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I know 3 people that will be there to see me do this. And I had 2 people come over and ask me a question. I looked down at what I was doing, looked up again, and there was like 30 people, and I was going, oh goodness. Because ironically, for you know, really antisocial creatures, we love throwing a social event. We really
Yeah.
love putting
It's
ourselves in
weird.
these social environments that we're all like, oh god. But it was lovely because I had, you know, Sam's mini painting. He's another gorgeous human that came to see me. Tiz obviously came and showed her support. There were so many people that came just to show love and support and were
Mm.
genuinely interested in what I was doing that actually made what I do feel a bit more worthwhile because sometimes I do feel a bit isolated as a, you know, not a designated Warhammer player or painter.
Yeah.
That I am the diorama person and I just make these one-off things. And I'm okay with being that person, but actually it was really nice. You know, I got a nod from Duncan Rhodes after the expo for the Carnosaur and the models and the basing. That actually that was like, okay, I actually feel a bit more valued now. Does that seem
Mm.
Yeah.
sad almost? Like, it was just nice.
No, no, it's definitely not.
It was just nice to
Yeah.
be sort of appreciated in that respect, to know that I had the support of the community, despite not being the stereotypical player or whatever. Because women in the hobby get a lot of stick, and it's,
You're not wrong.
you know, I'm quite happy. You know, I'm not pioneering being women in Warhammer or women in painting, miniature painting. I am just happy making my dioramas and making my bases, and if you know it makes one person happy to see them, then it's a win for me. But it was really nice to have the support, and of course Ben came and literally sat next to me, so I
Sat next to
really
you.
felt like I had a safety blanket, which was really lovely.
Yeah. I just enjoyed sitting down. That was 2 hectic days. So yeah, I got to come and sit
I
down
was
and
used for
get
the
a.
seating arrangement.
Yeah, that's it. It's all
I mean,
coming up now.
I used and abused you there, Jade. I took so much of your attention and learned so much from you on that one. It was, yeah. So I got to sit down and learn loads.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, yeah. I really enjoyed seeing stuff, and I've learned a lot from the very short time that we've sort of known each other. So it was good. Like when we obviously were chatting, you talked about you getting you on here. It's been
Yeah.
great to get you on here.
Well, hopefully there will be some really big projects coming soon. There's lots of plans at the moment. As I said, you know, Gundam Worlds is a thought that I'm trying to build my bravery to. Everyone has said after seeing my Gundam at the show that yeah, that needs to be there, and I'm kind of going, But there's so many better people and so many bigger, like as you do with everything, that my brain goes, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna build something for it. I'm not just gonna build something for myself and then put it in and hope for the best. I think I'm now moving through the next year of hobby at least. So Expo is making and painting stuff for specific. If I'm going to enter comps, I'm going to build something for that comp. I'm not just going to start throwing things into the ring because I don't think I don't get the valuable feedback from it. I don't, if I'm just haphazardly going, yeah, well, that'll do, I'll enter that. When I get feedback on it, it's not really something that I'm actively going, okay, fine. If I actually built something for that thing and then got feedback and got the corrections, then I would be more inclined to be like, right, I need to change this. I need to do this because that's how I'm going to level up myself. And that's all I'm doing it for, as selfish as that sounds. I'm always trying to better myself than be better than golden demon painters, because I am not in that line.
Right.
There's not many people that are, and certainly not many people that aren't. Me and Dave talked a lot about this. If you're not a full-time painter, you're probably not going to win Golden Demon, and that's fine.
But it's not something that I aspire to. You see so many painters that were like, I would love to be, this level. I would love to have a bronze at Iron Skull or a bronze at Gold Demon, and I'm like, it doesn't really interest me because I just want to be a bronze with my stuff. Like with me over here in my little pool, my little my little rally, I'm good. And that I do it because I love it, as we all do. If that's if that's your lane, you crack on in that lane. I'm going to be over here poodling along like Miss Daisy in my lane. It's fine.
Oh, brilliant!
Right, I've got one more question, and you somewhat answered it, but I'm going to try and stick you to one thing. You've talked about a lot of different things that you've got coming up, a lot of different projects coming up. What's your next big one? One of them. What's the big thing that you're really looking forward to get your teeth sunk into?
Oh, I don't know. There's too many to choose.
Choosing your favourite child here.
Oh, there may or may not be some things coming soon with a certain social media person, which I'm not. Ooh. I don't know whether I'm allowed to say who it is.
I won't push you where you can't answer. But okay.
There are certain things coming up with certain social media stars that I am in the works of. There are two main ones that I'm in talks with at the moment of doing some collabs with. But that will lead me hopefully into being more on YouTube. So
cool. Okay.
So I don't want to jinx it. I don't really know what's happening with it yet. It is just in the talks phase. But yes, I have. I think I can name drop one. I have been in talks with Tesseract Minis or Mini Studios.
Okay, yeah.
Stu's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful human being. Even if we do call each other many a swear word, it comes from a place of love. That's just his
thing, right?
It comes from a place of love.
That's his thing. Yeah.
But yes, I'm talking with him and a couple of other people about venturing into streaming, into YouTube, potentially doing some classes in real life.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
So hopefully,
do it.
Again, whether people will want that, then they'll have to inbox me and let me know, and then I will definitely start organising the classes. If not, it will just be party of Phil and maybe Chloe.
Yeah, we'll all just go along to it.
Maybe you guys.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Yeah, sounds good.
That was it in terms of questions, Dave. I don't know if you had any left or not. That's that.
I think that covered all bases, literally.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Sorry.
That's the best kind of pun. I love that. I'm here for that.
You meant that. Thank you,
all
Jade.
bases, I love that.
Yeah, maybe that's the name of the episode, covering all bases. I'll have to think about that one. There you go.
I really hope I did because I feel like I waffled. I was like that. Oh.
No, you fit right in. So it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, we waffle more than anybody. Like this has been a good episode for us because we've managed to show up for a while. But
I know, right?
Like I said to you before we started recording, Jade, the more you talk, the less we have to talk, and so that's good.
I know, but
Yeah,
I have
it's
a perpetual fear. This happened when I did a talk last time, where everyone was just really eagerly engaged, and like I said, I'm so not used to it. I'm used to being
mm,
interrupted, and I'm used to being like, "But what are we doing? But why are we doing this? But what did you say, Miss?" Like, I am not used to people sitting so quietly that I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm boring these people." Like the little voice in my brain's going, "You're boring. Stop talking. You've gone off the original point. Stop it."
no,
But
No,
so
it
long as it was
was
fine.
absolutely grand.
that was absolutely fine.
Yeah, you did a good job, and thank you very
I
much.
feel like I feel like I
Um,
can breathe now.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we'll talk about other stuff. Dave, next episode we're talking about what will you do with
How?
11th edition.
Yeah, there you go.
My brain had to turn off dioramas. What? Yeah, so it's back to me and Dave in the next episode. So we'll be
Hmm.
talking about what would we do in terms of 11th edition, and that's in terms of different models and in terms of where we'd take the lore. Obviously, in the last episode before this one, we talked about the fact that nobody's
Dying.
dying. Am I allowed to say died? I
Ironically.
didn't use the word died
Bit
anyway.
morbid.
Nobody's died yeah, it's a really weird thing. Nobody's died in 40k apart from maybe Yarrick, but that's never been confirmed.
Yeah.
There's a whole episode on it. Go back and watch it. So yeah, the next episode will be sort of
Hmm.
where do we think that GW should push 11th edition? So looking at sort of the next year or so of 40k, where do we think out on our opinion?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've got obviously if you're watching this, if you've got any thoughts about that, DM me and Dave. We'll probably do a
Yeah.
post as per usual.
Yeah. Send us messages or whatever your streaming service platform thing. I just shut up
Yeah,
now.
wherever you find it. Yeah, wherever you find the podcast, because it's on like 17 different places, and I don't
Yeah.
remember where it goes anymore. I set it up like 2 years ago, and I don't remember where it goes anymore. Just
Yeah.
into the ether.
Into the
I could look
universe.
at my analytics and it'd tell me. Honestly, it's. I put it on everything when I first started.
Are you telling me you
and I
just
just don't remember
you get
anymore.
about a bit then? Is that what you're telling me? It gets about a bit.
Yeah, I get it in everybody's ears. I mean, to be fair, when I started this podcast, I started it in a way that I meant that I didn't have to talk. That's why I get guests on. This is why I got Dave on, because I created a podcast so I could create a podcast without talking.
But Dave said less than you today.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
the problem is the fact that I end up talking quite a lot because I'm a very talkative person. So Dave's actually now reins me in instead. So it's probably for the
Yeah.
best.
Chaperoning.
I
Yeah.
talk too much. Yeah, I do need a chaperone. I need an adult just to be like, Ben, you're talking
Come on,
rubbish
Ben,
again.
let's
Please
go."
just come back come back off that tangent and let's get back to the actual what we should be talking about. Which is exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. So anyway, shall we wrap it up?
Yeah, but before I go, and I'm going to do this, so a nice exciting thing for me and as first rank wargaming and stuff like that. For those that are on YouTube, I'm wearing a clue. I got my Gambit Gaming Tail Miles t-shirt on. So really fun thing for me. So I've been working with Gambit obviously for a little while. For people that used to listen to the podcast, I did a sort of run with them and did some stuff with them. That's all happening again. I've been chatting with James over at Gambit quite a lot recently. For those of you who don't know what Gambit Gaming are, James is an incredible human being. The guy who runs Gambit Gaming. They're a clothing organisation, so they do t-shirts, hoodies, stuff like that, and they do such high quality stuff. I love, like, I've got 3 t-shirts and 2 hoodies from them at the minute, and I need to buy more. It's my paycheck that's stopping me from having more. I would just wear their stuff all the time. I've been working with James on two things more than anything. A, he's for some reason given me an affiliate link. I'll put that in down below. It doesn't cost you anything more. It just gives me a little kickback. It's really kind of James to do that. The other thing that I've been doing and working with them is they've started something called Club Forge. So this is where James is basically setting up, and I've been wanting him to do this for ages. He's set up a part of his website where basically you can get him to do your own design on their shirts, and so he'll run it through their systems, and basically it'll optimize your logo to go on t-shirts, and it'll be embroidered onto the exact same shirts, exact same quality. There's a small fee for doing it, and he's an incredible human being, and I'll put it all out there. He's waived that fee for me. Thank you, James. I really appreciate it. So I am biased in saying this, but I do think there's some of the best quality nerdy clothing going on at the minute. There's tabletop inspired, there's like gaming inspired stuff there. So you'll see like most of the AOS stuff, the 40k stuff is somewhat covered in there. There's loads of video game ones. Obviously, I'm wearing this one, but I've got another one that's video game inspired. Yeah, so there's going to be a first rank war. To get to the point, because loads of tangents, I am loving on Gambit Gaming for good reason. There's going to be a first rank wargaming t-shirt coming out, hopefully relatively soon. James has sent me, he's shown me the pictures of him doing the first embroidery on it. It looks incredible. I'm absolutely over the moon about it. I'm super, super excited about it, if you couldn't tell. That'll be coming out soon. So, Gambit Gaming, in the meantime, go and buy all your clothes from them anyway, because they're amazing. I wear them all the time. But yeah, pretty soon there'll be a first rank wargaming one. And I love it. And I'm definitely getting one. And I don't care if anybody else gets one, but there'll be a place on the website. There'll be first rank wargaming. So when that comes up, I'll put links. And let's be honest, I'm going to post all over Instagram when that comes out. So, and I'll probably wear that t-shirt over and over and over again in like every episode going forward, because it's going to be amazing.
He will wash it in between, though.
Yeah.
I might not.
In this weather.
I might not.
In
this weather, yeah, I probably should.
Mrs.
Yeah, my
missus
missus.
Here we go.
She'll be taking it off me as I'm wearing it. Like, Ben, you can't wear that again. It's fine. You guys can't. You probably can't smell me from where you are. I probably do stink right now. It's horrible, moist weather. So yeah, that's my ramble out of the way. I had to do it. Like Gambit, they're an absolutely wonderful company. Really, really love the clothing. Yeah, and look forward to the stuff that's coming forward.
Right.
I think that was it. I think that was my extra bit that I really wanted to say in this episode. Sorry, Dave and Jade. I completely took over there.
You're fine.
That's all right, because it's like a kid on Christmas Day, isn't it? Yeah. Bless him. Look.
I'm
my child. I'm bragging about my child.
Yeah.
It's been it's been like it's been in the works for a couple of months. I've been chatting with James about it, and I'm super excited about it.
I feel like somewhere you've got his name with love hearts drawn around it in a notebook.
Yeah,
that's all of it. Like if you go into my Instagram messages, it's just me loving James and just liking all of his stuff. Like it's like yeah. So I've had a chat with him about the company as well. There's basically him and his partner do it. For such a good company, there's only the two of them that does it, that do it. And James does all the embroidery himself and everything like that. He's training somebody up to do it, but it's super small company. For the quality that they put out, it's super impressive.
I may speak to them about doing mine, because I want a load of t-shirts doing. So long as they can do pink shirts, pink shirts with mushrooms. That's where I'm at.
I'm pretty sure that they did a custom pink shirt for...
Was that Emperor's Children?
Somebody. I can't remember who it was, but I think they did the Tau-inspired t-shirt, but I think they did it pink. So James has definitely got them before, so he might do it. I'll have a chat with him.
I might have to go message him. Be like, I hear from a little bird that's been bragging about you on a certain podcast.
Yeah. Do it. Like, yeah, super wonderful guy. He should be able to hook you up for sure.
Cool. Right.
Yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you,
me.
Jade. Thank you for coming on. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah,
Dave,
pleasure as always.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I've gone so many tangents as per. Thank you.
I'm sorry I kept coming for the horses. I didn't mean to. It was because he'd mentioned it, so that was in my brain then. My brain was like, I remember horses being mentioned. I can't mention anything by name. Horses, though, I was like, I know what a horse is.
That's it. Everyone knows a horse. It's like a universal, isn't it? It's like, done, horse.
Easy. Yeah. I know what it looks like. I don't care if it's Warhammer.
That's true. That is true. Right, I'm going to do an outro. I will do it. Obviously, thank you everybody for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we have making it. If you did enjoy it, please do the things that they've talked about. Subscribe, leave a review, comments, wherever you found it. It helps us out. It really helps us out. It helps guide where we go in terms of the podcast direction and things like that. So it's really useful. If you want to get in touch with any of us, obviously I'm First Rank Wargaming. Dave, you are...
Dave Hobby Corner with some underscores in between there somewhere.
Yeah. And Jade, you are...
J_Litland.create.
Obviously, all the links will be in the description as per usual. Please, if you don't, and I would be amazed if you don't, please go and follow Jade. It's well worth it. The stuff she creates is absolutely incredible. Seriously won't be disappointed.
Thanks,
and that's it. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.